First question, photosynthesis is a chemical reaction that takes place in a plant. Which characteristic of living organisms is described by the statement above? The characteristic is nutrition because photosynthesis results into manufacture of plant food, which includes carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, but basically the first product is glucose, which is a carbohydrate. So my answer here is C, nutrition. Question 2. The diagram below shows a compound microscope. What are the labeled parts 1, 2, and 3? From the microscope there you can tell 1 is actually your eyepiece, 2 is your objective lens, and 3 is your stage. So our answer is 1 is the eyepiece, 2 is the objective lens, and 3 is the stage. It can't be the mirror like in B because the mirror is here. Some microscopes actually have a bulb here or light here. So our answer is A. Question 3. A raw potato strip was placed in solutions of different concentrations. The length of the strip was measured regularly. The graph shows the length of the potato strip in solutions of different concentrations. I'll get to the graph. Please ignore this pencil thing. I just dig down these papers. So whoever was writing this, I don't know what they were thinking as they were doing this. But let's look at our graph here. Length is on our y in centimeters, then time on our x. And this is the length, the changes in the length of the strip. The question follows. In which period of time was the potato strip in distilled water? In which period of time was the potato strip in distilled water? So what do you expect the strip to be like if you place it in distilled water? This is all about osmosis, people. So osmosis is the diffusion of water through a semi-permeable membrane. That's the shortest definition of osmosis. Diffusion of water through a semi-permeable membrane. So C was my answer because once the potato strip is placed in distilled water, that is pure water. So it's going to elongate because a lot of water will simply diffuse into it by osmosis. So our answer is C. The length began increasing the moment it was placed in distilled water, which is here. Get to question 4. The diagram shows an enzyme catalyzed reaction. Enzyme substrate. This is a reversible reaction. Arrows representing reversibility. Enzyme substrate complex. Again, arrows representing showing reversibility. Then enzyme plus product. From the looks here, before I even look at the question down here, understand that some enzymes are involved in anabolic reactions and some enzymes are involved in catabolic reaction. This is catabolism because the product is being broken down. While it's enzymes that result in joining or build up or synthesis reactions, we could have had two reactants resulting into one product, but this is a catabolic kind of reaction, breakdown kind of reaction. So the question reads, which of the following characteristics of enzymes is being illustrated in the diagram? Question mark. The enzyme is pH. No, there's nothing concerning pH in that question. Denatured by excess heat. There's nothing representing or showing change in temperature there. Protein in nature. No, there's nothing that is showing anything to do with proteins, but specificity. Look at the active site. Okay, it's more like a square, and this substrate fits into the active site for the chemical reaction to simply go to completion. So specificity, which is specific in action, our answer is D. Question 5. The diagram below shows the results of 3 tests of a food sample. So we've got our first one where we have this is filter paper dried, then translucent spot, permanent translucent spot, then Benedict solution boiled, we've got red precipitate, then iodine solution, we've got yellow color. So to this food sample, once you crush it crush it on this dried filter paper, it creates a translucent spot. You mix it with Benedict solution and you boil, results into some red precipitate or red cloudy insoluble substance forming. Then here you mix the food sample with iodine it changes to yellow. Okay. The question follows: which nutrients are present in the food sample? My answer was fat and reducing sugar only. Okay, I went for this answer because of course the translucent spot means your fats are present. That is why you don't touch books with oily hands, because the marks you're going to leave are going to be permanent. Okay, so the translucent spot is definite that the sample had some fat in it or lipids. Then this B here, I had a little bit of a debate because some books will bring out this as red precipitate, some books will bring it out as brick red, okay, and some books will bring it out as orange. Okay, but these color references usually depend on the quantity of reducing sugars that were present, the concentration of reducing sugars. If the reducing sugars are minute, they are less, the solution can even be yellow, then it can be orange, then brick red, and finally it can actually be referred to as red. So meaning there's a high concentration of reducing sugars. So I concluded to say reducing sugars were also present. But here, if starch was present, this could have been dark purple or dark blue, or some books will put it as blue black. Okay, so you can either use dark purple or dark blue because the color is a little bit an intermediate of the two in their dark forms. So my answer was B for this question. Question 6. The table below shows some characteristics of 4 people. I didn't finish this one. Which person requires the highest energy intake in his or her diet? The highest. So meaning they're trying to look at the highest energy intake quantity, in other words. So I was almost writing 5 because I straight away concluded to say children have got high metabolism. But again, when I looked at the question again, it is saying which person requires the highest energy intake, highest among these. This one is an adult. The age is 14. Her activities are high. Okay. This child has got high activities, but cannot be compared to the activities of a 40-year-old adult female. So my answer is C. So I can just remove this. Okay. My answer is C because this one will have to take a lot of food because their activities on a daily basis are high. And they are adults. Look at this mass. So they'll need a high quantity of energy in their diet. So my answer there is C. Which of the following correctly identifies the deficiency disease of the plant nutrient nitrogen, magnesium, and calcium? Nitrogen is involved in the formation of protein structures, magnesium in the formation of chlorophyll, and calcium is mostly involved in root development, just like phosphorus. It's involved in root development. So my answer was C. Calcium. If a plant is deficient of calcium, roots will disintegrate to death. If it's deficient of magnesium and nitrogen, it will lead to yellowing up of leaves, and this yellowing up is generally referred to as chlorosis. Chlorophyll chlorosis. So yellowing up means lack of chlorophyll, like the plant loses chlorophyll or fails to synthesize chlorophyll, therefore its leaves appear yellowish, and that's referred to as chlorosis, leaf chlorosis. Sometimes some books will bring it out as general chlorosis, and this chlorosis sometimes may just be on the edges of the leaves, but the thing is, it's chlorosis. So my answer there is C. Question 8. The diagram shows an experiment to demonstrate photosynthesis. There's a pond. I wish they could label what this kind of a plant is. But anyway, pond water, meaning this is a pond weed, a water plant, a plant that can grow in water and still carry out normal processes like just any other plant on land. So there's gas X there, water, light reaching, okay, or entering to the water, then pond water. And then the question comes, what is the name of gas X? Look at the light. And this plant is a plant. It photosynthesizes, demonstrate photosynthesis. So if there's light reaching, meaning this plant is photosynthesizing, and the gas being released is what? Oxygen, because oxygen is a product of photosynthesis, while this carbon dioxide is a product of respiration. My answer there is D. Question 9. What do we call a type of heterotrophic nutrition where a tick, Mr. Tick with a big belly, is fixed to the skin of a dog and obtains nutrients? Poor dog. But the relationship here is parasitism because the dog will actually be harmed. A dog will keep on scratching itself. Sometimes, if it's on the ears, they can even have sores. But the thing is, one is being harmed, then the other one is actually benefiting. So a tick is actually an ectoparasite. It lives on the skin or on the body on the skin of the host. While its other parasites like worms are actually endo, meaning they feed from the inside, they harm you from the inside. My answer there is a D. Question 10. What is the dental formula of the animal whose skull is shown below? What is the dental formula of the animal whose skull is shown below? We don't know what this is, but of course it looks like a dog, a dog, but they are just asking us what the dental formula is. You should understand that the dental formula of a given organism is simply a display or an arrangement that shows only half the number of teeth on each jaw in that organism. So they've shown us only one side, meaning this is the half side of each jaw. There are teeth on the upper jaw on the other side, but the dental formula only considers these on half of each jaw. So we have to determine by counting. So these incisors are 3 on top, and down here there are 2. So 3 over 2, which is this 3 over 2. There's no other 3 over 2 on the others. Canines, you've got 1 over 1, 1 over 1. Premolars, I may not be able to count properly, but of course the pattern has already shown itself. The other of proving is by counting the number of teeth on top here. This is 3, 4, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so my answer there is C. If you want to find the total number of teeth on the upper jaw, you add these on top, then multiply by 2 because the diagram is only showing you half of the number of teeth on this jaw. So add them, they are 10, meaning this is 10. Meaning if this is half, it means the other side of this jaw is also having 10. And even down here, if we count, this is 3, 6, 9. Okay, meaning down here, the dog or this animal has got 18, up it has got 20. Okay, 20 plus 18, and then you have the total number of teeth. So according to this diagram, your formula is this one. Do not force, because you have seen that this is a dog, don't force the dog to have 42 teeth, because they're asking what is the dental formula of the animal whose skull is shown below. So you follow the diagram. Our answer is C. The next question there is the diagram below shows the digestive system of a human being. Okay, which labeled part produces gastric juice? The gastric gland, which is the stomach. Our answer is B. 12. The diagram shows the respiratory organs in fish. Okay, in Mr. Fish. I didn't see these teeth. Okay, in which of the labeled parts will gaseous exchange take place? In which of the labeled parts will gaseous exchange take place? In C. This is just a fin, okay? This is the mouth, of course. These are just fake nostrils. They're just holes that look like nostrils. Their function might be something else, but these are gill filaments, where gill lamellae are found. Our answer is C. Which of the following is the difference between aerobic and anaerobic respiration? Aerobic carbon dioxide produced, anaerobic, no, carbon dioxide is produced. When I looked at this question, I realized they have not specified whether it's in plants or animals, so you have to be familiar with both. The effect of anaerobic in both plants and animals. So in plants, carbon dioxide is produced. So this one is not correct. You can't even compare the two because there's no specification. Lactic acid, this happens in animals under anaerobic. This happens in plants under anaerobic. So this also is something else. Oxygen is not used. We're talking about anaerobic. So my answer was C. In both, more energy is released and then less energy is released under anaerobic. So our answer is C. 14. Which of the following diseases is pathogenic? What is a pathogen? A pathogen is a disease causing agent. It can be a bacteria, a fungi or fungus, or virus. So when you look at these, they are all deficiency, and this one is actually a genetic disorder. Pellagra is simply a condition that is brought about by lack of vitamin B. To be specific, lack of vitamin B3. Scurvy is a condition caused by lack of vitamin C. Then sickle cell anemia is simply a genetic condition where someone develops sickle cell shaped hemoglobin proteins in their red blood cells. But this one, this is a virus and it's a disease causing agent, so our answer is A. The diagram below shows a cross section of a dicot stem and root. Okay. Which labeled regions contain xylem vessels? The xylem is the central part here, and then the xylem here is the one on the inner side. So it's going to be R and Q. My answer is C, Q and R. You have to have studied these diagrams for you to simply know how the arrangement is. 16. Peter has blood group AB. He needs blood transfusion. He needs a blood transfusion. Which blood group could he receive blood? From which blood group could he receive blood? Blood group AB means they've got the A protein or antigen and also the B antigen. Meaning they can receive from A, they can receive from B, they can receive from AB. And then when you look at O is a universal donor. O just means a person who doesn't have these two types of proteins. Someone with blood group AB means they've got both of these types of proteins on their cell surfaces. So O means they don't have the AB protein. So O can be given to anyone because it won't bring about any reaction or harmful reaction, because transfusion or putting blood into someone which has got an antigen, which can be either A or B, which the receiver doesn't have, the body might react to that blood and bring about agglutination or clotting. So my answer is B. This individual Peter can receive from all of them, which leads us to answer D. 17. The diagram shows the relationship between blood, lymph, and tissue fluid. What are the substances labeled P, Q, R, and S? Before I even look at this table down here, just by looking, this is lacteal, meaning there's lymph inside there. This is plasma. Okay, the arrow is pointing, or the label line is pointing, not in the RBC, but just here. This is plasma. And then this shows movement of substances between plasma or blood and tissue, because these cells are tissue, body cells. So this is the movement of substances. I move to the table. What are the substances labeled P, Q, R, and S? My take was that P is glucose. It's needed by cells for respiration, so it moves out of the bloodstream to tissue. Q is CO2, which is a waste material from tissue, so it's one of those things that would move into blood. Apart from that, Q can even be a hormone or any other waste material, or even a hormone is not a waste material. It can be hormone or even urea, okay, anything that can be released by cells to go into the bloodstream. Then R is plasma, of course, and S is lymph, so our answer there is A. Our answer is A. We get to the next question. The diagram shows part of the nephron from a kidney. The diagram shows part of the nephron from a kidney. Afferent, arterial, efferent. The afferent is wide, the efferent is narrower. And that is important because if this one is wide, it will allow much blood to enter the glomerulus region. Okay, the glomerulus, which is the division of these small blood vessels. And then since the efferent is narrow, but the blood won't easily leave the glomerulus because at the end of the whole network is narrower, so pressure is created and filtration occurs. Ultrafiltration or pressure filtration occurs. So remember, A comes before E. So afferent leads in, efferent leads out. Apart from water, what other substances are present in the fluid in Y? This is the glomerulus filtrate, okay, in the Bowman's capsule. So apart from water, what other substances are present in the glomerulus filtrate, which is fluid Y? Um, Glucose, mineral ions, protein, urea. Remember, protein is never filtered out of the glomerulus. It's too large to pass. It's too large to pass out and find itself in the glomerulus filtrate. So protein, no. Urea, yes. If anything, the kidneys are the main organs that help us get rid of urea. Mineral salts or mineral ions, yes. Glucose, yes. A quantity of glucose actually is filtered out, but it is reabsorbed because it's supposed to get back into the system. A small quantity though may be passed out, but it's not healthy to urinate glucose in large quantities. So my answer is D. Apart from water, the filtrate here will have glucose, it will have mineral salts or ions, it won't have proteins, and it will have urea. Our answer is D. Okay, I'll go up to question 20, then we'll simply meet in the other video to simply finish up the paper. So the diagram, that's our question 19. The diagram shows a section through the human skin. Okay, you should be able to just see one or two things that you can, say something about if you were to look at this. So these are actually nerve endings. Okay, nerve endings. It's a nerve ending here, nerve ending there, sweat pore, sweat duct, sweat gland, hair erector muscle, the hair. Then you've got blood vessels under the skin. You should be able to just see these should be blood vessels that are facing us. It could be anything, but that's that. So the question follows: how do the structures numbered 1, 2, and 3 help to regulate the body temperature on a hot day? On a hot day, I had a little bit of challenge to just conclude my answer here because it's not really okay, let me go through it. When it's hot, the hairs have to lie flat, okay, to simply allow the body to lose more heat. The blood vessels have to dilate, okay. When it's hot, blood vessels have to dilate, and then a lot of sweat has to be produced. I think I messed up here, but let me correct it. So our answer is more sweat has to be produced for the water to carry away the heat as the sweat evaporates. So more sweat, either C and D. Then number 2, which is our hair erector muscle, contracts, which is correct. And then oh no, it doesn't have to contract, because if it contracts, the hair will simply stand erect and it will trap a layer of air, which will simply bring about insulation. So I had a problem on this contraction. And then dilation is very correct. The blood vessels have to dilate so that more blood can flow on the surface of the skin. And if more blood flows on the surface of the skin, then more heat will be lost by radiation. So my best answer is supposed to be D, not this C here. So my best answer is D. But on this contraction, it has to relax. It has to relax to cause the hair to simply lie flat. If it contracts, it's going to cause the hair to simply stand erect, and it will actually bring about insulation. My best answer there is D. Question 20, which is our last question in this video. Which hormone causes an increase in glucose concentration in blood? Yes, in blood. Which hormone causes an increase in glucose concentration in blood? My answer is adrenaline. Okay, adrenaline simply causes insulin reduces. Glucagon could be the best, but the hormone also has the same effect as glucagon when it comes to certain situations. So when someone has a surge in adrenaline, they will actually have an increase in the blood sugar levels, because adrenaline brings about that as one of the effects. Apart from that, of course, vasodilation, alertness is increased, heartbeat is increased. It has got multiple effects on the human body, but it prepares humans or even animals for fight or running away, which is flight. So, for you to fight or to run away, you need energy. So, the effect of this hormone simply causes an increase in glucose concentration in blood. So, the answer there is A. I'll stop here and we'll continue in the other video for the next half of this paper. Hope it was helpful. Bye bye for now.